For me, when I became an NCO, it's kind of, it's definitely eye-opening, right? It's no longer about yourself.
You no longer just sit there and say, oh, I'm an NCO and I have these soldiers, but now it's, I'm an NCO and I'm going to get ready to go into battle and I need to make sure these soldiers come home alive.
I assumed things would just be easy. But then we deployed to Iraq. And then when we got there, I was almost forced, myself, to realize being an NCO is just more than just being in the Army and then having an additional rank.
I wouldn't say inadequate, but there was definitely doubts, right? Can I handle this? Am I the right person to help this soldier through this?
Were there times that I felt that I didn't know my job as a squad leader or a team leader in order to educate or train my team or squad? Yes.
I think most people will say like, oh yeah, I just took it on, like, and that might be true, but for me it was a little bit stressful, especially because we were in Iraq.
The Army community is so diverse, and we all come from different places and all have different issues, and some don't have driver's license, or some have never been out on their own and don't know how to do their laundry, and just the simple things that I never thought that I would have to be dealing with as an NCO, and then also dealing with my family along with that.
You had to live a double life, because when you're at home, you're a father, you're a husband, you're a provider, you're there for your family, and you're a different person. But when you come to work, you have to deal with your peers, your soldiers, civilians. You have to deal with the day-to-day op-tempo, the priorities, whatever the priority is that day that's going on. So you have to be able to come in and flip the switch from being a husband and a father to coming in to being that non-commissioned officer.
But the difference in being an NCO in the Army is you're not just looking to get stuff done. You have to look at, my soldier here isn't able to get something done. Well, why is that? I have to answer the why. Are they financially stable?
As an NCO, like it's 24/7, right? When we go home, we're still on call. If our soldier, maybe they're having some issues, they need a ride because they've been drinking, or maybe they're having some personal issues with their significant other. It's definitely like an extended family.
I think there's definitely times where my wife's come through in the clutch and been like, I got this, she sees I don't want to make a decision. Like, I don't want to help cook. I really don't want to help do dishes. Can we just have a day on the couch? And we've been married for almost 20 years. So I think she can recognize that now.
If you take your job seriously as an NCO and your role as an NCO, it's hard not to make the Army first all the time. That was something, I think has been one of my biggest struggles.
Personal and professional, it was hard. I've seen many NCOs get it out of balance, either one way or the other, and it affected either their job or it affected their family.
Yeah, I was doing great things at work. Yeah, I was trying to keep up with soldiers. Yeah, I was trying to make sure soldiers were taken care of. But then I felt as if when I was going home to my family, I was failing in that aspect, because my mind was racing 1,000 miles an hour about what I could have done better, how I could have done this, how I could have done that.
So at the time, I was just having a very, very overwhelming day, to the point to where I really snapped and took it out on the kids. And that's unacceptable. I think that's when I realized I was taking it out on the kids because of work. That was kind of the moment of realization that, hey, like, this is too much.
you're never going to be able to be both. You're either going to be a great dad, a great mother, brother or sister, or you're going to be a great NCO. But trying to do both at the same time might be possible, but it's going to take its mental toll.
We had just got back from a pretty rough deployment, lost some friends and things like that. And the behavioral health provider, our brigade behavioral health provider, his office was right next to the brigade commander's office in the command suite. And so a lot of people would not go and seek out that help. And just because of the location, because people do talk and it is hard. And especially when you're young and you're just starting this journey as a leader, you don't want to create that thought or even inkling that you're not capable or competent by seeking help. So that is definitely, I certainly would not have sought help just due to the sheer location of his office.
I had a lot of days where I felt like, you know what, I gotta say something. I gotta maybe just go to the commander and say, hey sir, First Sergeant, can I see you guys for a second? I think I need to see somebody, because it's getting to be a lot. But no one else is doing that though. So it's almost like, if I look to my left, is this NCO gonna go do that? No, okay. That person's doing the same thing I'm doing, okay. I look to my right, okay, that NCO is drowning as well. Okay, these other NCOs are drowning too, so if everybody else is drowning, why shouldn't I be as well?
And it just sparked a fire to where I grabbed a hold of the desk and I flipped it. That's how angry I was. And it got to the point to where they had to get the hospital to CSM to come where I was. And he calmed me down. And the first thing he said was, I'm not upset with you for what you did. He goes, I've been where you are, but let's go. We're going to go talk to somebody. He goes, because I understand what you're going through.
Sometimes we would end up bottling it up, but it just seemed like, for me, that there was always somebody there that would poke and prod and say, Z, what's up? What's going on? And, you're scared at first, and then you start talking and they say, yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Now the walls the walls break down and you're able to talk more freely, and you're able to get the things off your chest and be able to deal with whatever it may be that's going on.
Now, there's definitely been some I don't know, dark times, but like I remember when I went to BH and Bliss, the op tempo, being embedded, they had appointments way in the future, and so I made one, but then I went back to my platoon sergeant at the time, Sergeant First Class Bohannon, and we just talked about it, and I don't know, probably a good hour or two. He stopped what he was doing, and then just gave me his full undivided attention. I just kind of got off my chest what how I was thinking, what I was feeling, and he was just kind of there, and
just talking to your battle buddies, or to my husband, or to my mom or my sisters, I still needed more, so being able to talk to MFLAC to where they can kind of provide a little bit more insight as far as like coping, because it is hard, it gets overwhelming, right? I have work, I have the kids, my husband's on rotation, so just being completely overwhelmed and getting that support on how to cope with those things. It was definitely helpful.
We have to talk about it. We have to make it okay. We have to make it normalized, right? That it's normal and it's okay to go seek help.
That stigma of all the negative things that you were told could happen to you, none of that stuff happened. None of it. People continue to come to me. I stayed in my leadership positions. People trusted you more.
It's been worth it, because without it, I wouldn't be the person that I am today.
I wake up every day knowing that I gave it everything I had. And if I had to go back and change anything, I won't.
It's absolutely worth it. Yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. You know, I've really been blessed to work with some great people. Been to some great places, been to Alaska, Hawaii, Colorado, you know. Yes, it is hard. Yes, it's difficult, but at the same time, we get to experience so much, right? We get to experience so much, have so many experiences, to where it's very rewarding, especially when you see your junior soldiers that you're coaching, mentoring, teaching, seeing them climb the ranks and seeing them succeed. It's definitely rewarding.
I'd do it all again in a heartbeat. Are there things I'd change? Sure. But like at the end of the day, the outcome is what it is, and I couldn't ask for anything else. It's been an amazing ride. I've been all over the world, seen and done amazing and crazy things. I've got to serve with and lead some of the greatest men and women of the United States.
There's no way that I would have learned what I know, grown and developed, and become who I am today if I would have just stayed in college and become an athletic trainer and just worked, you know, somewhere. There's just no way. And so I think that it has been a great experience for me, and I love what I do.
I'd like to say I'd had a good career. I'd like to say that, you know, I took care of my soldiers took care of me. And, you know, I guess that's the whole point. As you look back and you see things, you can see where you took care of your soldiers, and then you can also see where they took care of you. You know, sometimes the old saying that hindsight is 20/20 is reality. You know, sometimes you think, man, was this ever worth it? And then you look back at your career and you go, yeah, it was. I miss the Army camaraderie, you know, to this day. There's nothing like the camaraderie that you build amongst a squad or a platoon, and in many cases even a company. You know, and it's what you build. Was it worth it? Yes.